Hello and welcome. In this tutorial we're going to cover the basic mathematical operators that you're going to use in Python. For this purpose I'm going to create a variable x and I'll assign the value 13 to it and a variable y with a value of 5. We're going to begin with the basic addition and subtraction, multiplication and division, and the syntax is exactly the same as if you're using a calculator. So if I print x plus y, I'm going to add the two values together and the output would be 18. If I want to subtract them and see the difference, I do the minus sign, I use the minus sign and then the answer is 8. If I want to multiply, I use the multiplication sign, the answer is 65. And if I use a division, the answer would be 2.6. And again, as you know from the previous tutorial, this is a float because it has a decimal, while these are integers. Now, what I'm going to cover in the next part of this tutorial is basically something that's a bit more complex. And I'm going to start with something less complex, like the exponential function. And that's basically x to the power of y. And the way we do it in Python, the syntax is the multiplication sign twice. What this indicates is you take the number x and you multiply it y times basically with itself. So this is exactly the same as this. 13 times 13 times 13 times 13 times 13. We should get the same output in the console. And that's correct. Now the following part is a bit more complex and maybe a bit more difficult to understand for beginners, but I'll do my best. But in case you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. The first one is integer division, and the second one is the so-called remainder. And I'm going to cover them together as I think that they're in a way related, and I'm going to show the relation with one example. So let's say that you have a player that's playing a game and he has 13 points or 13 coins. And he wants to buy an item that costs 5. How many items can he buy? Well, he can buy 2, right? He can't buy 2.2 items. He can just buy a whole item. He can't buy a part of it. Well, with this integer division, that's basically what we're checking. How many times y goes into x? And we're looking for a full number. So it doesn't round it up or down. It's just a full number. It completely ignores the decimal. The percentage shows if, for example, the player bought the maximum amount of items, well, what would the remainder be? So in this case, we would expect to have an answer of 2, and in the second line, the output should be 3. I'm going to print this to the console, and exactly this is the case. Now, what if the player had 180 points, let's say 184? Well, he could buy 36 items and then he would have 4 points or coins left. And this is, of course, one use case for it. There are multiple cases. Now, I'm sure that this part is clear, but for the percentage, it might be a bit confusing as to where are you going to use it. And I'm going to show you one more use case, and that's if you're having a game with, let's say, 5 players, then you're going to you can use the percentage to indicate whose turn is it. So you're going to have a variable turn which starts with 0, and the players are going to be actually 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So player 0, player 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because the outcome of this can also be 0, and we want that to also indicate a player. So we're going to have player 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is basically 5 players, but since there are 5 outcomes, we're going to have number of players variable, and it's going to be 4. But again, it's 5 players, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 5 players, that's how we indicate that in Python. And now I'm going to remove this part of the code up here, and let's say that it's turn 5. I'm going to print turn percentage number of players. And right now it's player number 1's turn. What if it's turn 168? Well, now it's the player 0 turn. If it's 1876, then now it's again player 0's turn, and so on. So basically what we can do in this case, this is not manually done, of course, this is done with a for loop, and that's something that we're covering in the following tutorials, but it's player 0's turn, he makes his choice, and then the turn increases by 1. And then it's player 1's turn, and then he makes his choice, and the turn increases by 1. And then it's player 2's turn, and so on. And then once everyone made his choice, we start from the beginning again, so from player 0, and so on. So this is one use case of when you would use the percentage sign, because that's exactly what we need. We need a script that as the turns go up, the players get a turn one after another. And this is a good way to do it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you have any questions or comment, if something was confusing, leave it in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Feel free to subscribe for the following tutorials, and I'll see you in the next video.